Terrorism is a very strange word. I hate terrorism because I hate innocent people being killed, and that's what the term terrorism seems to mean, that you create such hysteria that people follow your point of view, or they're forced to follow your point of view. 9/11 was an absolute terrorist event, which was just to horrify the world and kill innocent people totally.
I said to myself, we got to do something about our movie, because our movie, Collateral Damage, deals with exactly that subject, which is terrorists from other countries coming in and creating tremendous damage. The similarities were just too much. Now we have decided that enough time has lapsed so the movie can now stand by itself and on its own and be out there as a great, interesting piece that deals with terrorism. And I think this is very important.
Collateral Damage was ready to be released, I think, October 5th. And on September 11th, of course, the world events changed everything. And everybody pulled back and said, let's just see what's going to happen here. And then in November, Warner Brothers tested the picture with an audience, and people said, we understand why you pulled the release, and we think it was appropriate, but now we'd like to see this film. We enjoy this film. We'd like to have it in the theaters.
Mr. Brewer, I can't imagine what you're feeling right now, but you cannot take the law into your own hands.
Prior to September 11th, it may have been taken as just entertainment. It was important to me still because it focused on Colombia, which I'm interested in talking about. But I think the whole role of the movie is a little bit more significant now, or quite a bit more significant now. Collateral damage is a term that was basically a military term. That was the residual violence that was maybe unintended during an act of war. And it's one of those things where we say, well, we hit our target and we lost some innocent people. That's the collateral damage. It's the price you accept you pay during warfare. What attracted me to Collateral Damage was the fact that the lead character, Gordon Brewer, was a man who saved lives. His day-to-day life was being a fireman. And because of a tragic event which kills his wife and his son, he goes on a mission for revenge. And along the way, he learns also that the man he's chasing lost a child like he did. So there's a real parallel here. And there's a story about a very heroic character who realizes that violence begets violence. And he tries to stop short of becoming this monster. And at the same time, he uses his skills as a fireman to stop more violence. So for Arnold Schwarzenegger to play this role, I thought it was fantastic, because who better than Arnold to go on a revenge mission where you sort of expect, oh my gosh, he's going to rip people apart. But then having all the strength and all the power of the roles he's played in the past to say, hold it, I'm a human being now. I'm a fireman. I care about life. I thought it was a great combination of history and what his future could be.
Collateral Damage was written in such an exciting way and gave us a little insight of how it happens. Why do terrorists attack our country? What are the things that our country does to make those people do those things? And what misconceptions there are about all this, the way they perceive this country and all that. And I think all of those things come out in this movie.
There are all kinds of heroes. There are unspoken heroes. There are heroes who don't do anything and are heroes in terms of because they refuse to go along with the stream and they stop and say, you can't get me to do that. There are heroes who go out of their way where others wouldn't. But a hero is basically someone who cares about human beings, who tries to ultimately be part of the innocent, the unspoken for, who represents the downtrodden, who represents the voiceless, the people who don't have a say in their lives, in their world, and tries to give them a dignity and a humanity that they otherwise wouldn't have.
Heroic movies are always going to be popular if they're well made. And I think that now is a time where a heroic movie like Collateral Damage is going to be even much more popular, because people are looking forward to a positive kind of an upbeat kind of an ending. because people are frustrated right now.
I think firemen have been doing the same thing before and after September 11th. The fact that people heroically went into a large situation in a large building and died focused the role of the firemen in the world today. I still think heroes are ones who save lives, not take lives. So my definition of heroes and what the world is perception of heroes, I don't know that it's changed since September 11th. I think there's just more tragedy, so there's more need for heroes. Arnold understood what this part was about. He's heroic, he's action-filled, he's smart, but he's also very vulnerable. And all of a sudden, he realizes he may be creating more violence. And he runs forward and says, I can't be a part of this. So it's a sense of conscience, and that's why he's an interesting character, I think, because he doesn't let that go from his heart.
What is very difficult is to play out the scenes in the proper way and to interpret them the proper way, the way it's written in the script. To get the vulnerability across, to get also the toughness across, but with the combination that you're still vulnerable. That is always, I think, the big responsibility, to act those things out and to really be the character.
You talk about heroes, I think he walks a very interesting line here between being a guy who's going after the bad guy, quote unquote, and yet not being simplistic about what it is that he is as a human being. And I think people are ready for that with Arnold. I think the film has taken on more significance. I think it's taken on a more important role in terms of looking at all the sides of terrorism, the motivations and the tragedies of terrorism.
I think there would be a great anticipation for this movie to come out because the subject is fresh and it has a very interesting message there.
When you violate somebody, it doesn't stop. I mean, yes, you can stop somebody from rising up for a certain period of time, but then that kid's kid will find out what happened to his father or his grandfather. We're looking at events all over the world, whether they be the Middle East or Bosnia or Southeast Asia or Ireland, where thousands and hundreds of years of animosity are still percolating. That's what collateral damage talks about. Those are the innocent people, the periphery of the battle. You get so defensive, you become offensive. So, we have to learn as a species how to be human beings. We're born as animals, and every generation has to be loved and educated into what it means to be human. If we miss a beat, then we have terror in the world.